Friends, we have been discussing various approaches to a new world order. We looked at political reforms, we looked at educational reforms, we looked at service reforms, business reforms, agriculture and production reforms. Now we need to ensure that our foreign policy and defense are used, are reformed for ensuring a credibility in the international world. Uh, Having seen the nation from at least grown up in free India, though born just before independence, but grown up in India, free India, seeing changes at various levels and stages from non-alignment to Panchsheel, non-alignment, and coming to various stages. Probably India is relatively in a better position now when people in nations developed and developing outside our area have developed respect for Indian policies and credibility. However, our neighbors are still not part of us. Not all. It's natural, it happens. A neighbor always feels, I may not lose my wall, I may not lose my street, I may not lose my field, and whatnot. This applies to all neighbors. But if we can assure from our credibility that we are friends of the neighbors and we are not the enemies of the neighbors, this problem will not rise. Today, India's biggest problem is religious dividing lines. Except for Islam, all other except for Islam and Christianity to some extent, all other religions are part of the same tree. Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, among the prominent ones, they all are part of same tree, the Bhartiyata, the same religious threads, but still there are feelings. If our neighbors who adopted things like Buddhism and still suddenly become hostile due to the political part or political ideologies, that needs to be countered. First, within the country, there are too many groups given freedom to speak whatever they feel like. That's not democracy. I heard media people saying in democracy everybody is allowed to discuss. But discuss what? You cannot discuss anti-national and things which are harmful for the national interest on a national media. In fact, they should not be allowed to be discussed even at institutional or local level. Such people should be clearly asked. There should be a inter-political, inter-religious group with prominent members from all political and religious parties who should sit down and first lay down the agenda what is national interest. And once they have agreed on that, they should not allow individuals of the type which we see on TV talking things which are totally harmful of Indian interest. India is not a raiding country, India is not an aggressive country. India has always been a peace-loving country. All Indian religions, Sikhism was born only to defend India and not to attack others. Buddhism was born to make warring heads come together and forget about wars. So why will Buddhism go and teach others? Jainism also the offshoot of the same time. Hinduism in any case believed in coexistence, Vasundharaya Kutumbam. Christianity and Islam, which are born outside India, in that, in fact, if you look at seriously at Christianity, we have studies which suggest linkage between the two because Jesus Christ came and lived in Kashmir to understand this part of the world and the philosophical trends here. Some experts even say that if you look at the base of existence called carbon atom and you take its photographs through electronic microscope, you will find it provides unity between Sri Ganesha and Sri Christ, both born from the mothers who did not produce child with the father union. Both were born in the cow herd or in the area which is more of a nature. Christ says forgiveness. Lord Ganesha also teaches peace, balance, forgiveness, wisdom. If you look at carbon, its left and right present one side and top and bottom another side. From this side it is alpha, from that side it is omega. From top it is Om and bottom it is swastik. If you look at it, Om and swastik are part of Shri Ganesha, symbols of Shri Ganesha. Alpha and Omega are words of Lord Christ, who said, I am the beginning, I am the end, I am the Alpha, I am the Omega. Therefore, these two divinities, if you go deep into it and their qualities and the type of teachings, bring for unity between Christianity. Except for one thing, Christianity has fought, or Christianity based armies have fought more wars for religion, but Indians have not fought. However, Islam, on the other hand, has also fought more wars than anybody else. Therefore, but Islam also has got good teachings which adopted are good for the time, that time, some can be adopted now. Christianity also has got good teachings, Hinduism has got, Sikhism has got, Buddhism has got, Jainism has got. Every religion on earth has something common. We, in another discussion, have said the need is for creating universal pure religion, a religion of unified religion which respects for all divinities and all philosophies, good among all. This needs to become a point of our foreign policy. This needs to become a point for relationship with other nations so that every nation, most nations are easily affected by religious beliefs, particularly the leadership. If we develop universal religious system, global leaders can be brought on one table to discuss one concept. Therefore, there is a need for religious reforms, reforms in the foreign policy, which should be based on values only, not religion, good values of the religion, goodness of every human being, survival and opportunities for every living system, living being, human being in particular. If we can develop that type of policy framework, ensure our neighbors particularly that we are part of you, you are part of us. If necessary, form a union. After all, every country has got states with different communities and different ethnic groups. Why we cannot have a association of all nations around us at least to cover up that area which used to be Bharat by saying we all were once united together, we can be united once again. By association, you don't have to occupy, you don't have to control anybody. There is no need for domination, participation, cooperation, sharing of values, helping each other in the well being of the people, for mutual growth, for development of good education, good political system, for good business, for good agriculture, good needs of good means of survival for everyone. Therefore, our policy should be based on cooperation, mutual understanding, values, and making all feel that we are friends, we are not enemies. However, still if there is a need arises, we should be strong enough to defend. And for that, we need to develop our defense policy, reform our defense policy. Why we cannot develop marketing? I recall when I was in DRDO in 80s, I had recommended we should market our electronic and weapon systems to other nations, neighborhoods particularly, like we are taking from big countries, from west and east, all sides. We should be able to give to our friends. Make all friends and help them. Because defense is not needed only from outside. After all, evil is everywhere. Evil is inside also. Insurgents who are national people but misguided, power hungry, money hungry, for controlling, for ego satisfaction, they can disturb. Even law maintenance agencies need a support. In fact, law and order should have a national organization which is applicable everywhere in the nation, not just a state subject, state police, but a national police like defense. If somebody is doing wrong things, like we recently saw in UP, lot of fingers being raised on the local police, there should be a national police. We should come and teach them good lessons and find out where they have gone wrong and correct them. Therefore, the need for reforms is in defense and law order management systems in our foreign policy. These are interlinked. These cannot be in isolation. Our politics, our education, our business, our agriculture were quite local to us. But defense, law and order, and foreign are fairly interconnected because our neighbors see it. The citizens, when they visit us, they are affected. And hence, the harmony in these organizations, reforms in these organizations, creating a feeling of brotherhood, sisterhood, goodness, mutual growth, respect for values, I think will add value and to relationship between nations in the neighborhood. That's very essential. And that should be the plank of our foreign policy. All are our friends. Vasundharaye Kutumbam. We will help everyone. We will make everybody grow and take from everybody help for our growth. Sharing, right? We should not be seen as a threat, not required, but for that we should be so strong that nobody should ever feel that we are doing it out of weakness. That's a very critical part. In the world, deterrence was a policy, but deterrence using nuclear weapons, etc., is destructive. It will destroy everybody in the long run. But deterrence in terms of power, say for example, we develop beam weapons, we'll discuss about it. We have another presentation on it. Develop beam weapons integrated to the radar systems, radar and automatic control systems to safeguard the boundaries and help our friends also to safeguard their boundaries. Otherwise, we help the nation to become free and after some time, the people started working against us. That type of situation should not arise. The people with whom we have had centuries and decades of relationship, of marriage, roti and beti, they are speaking against us for political reasons. Why? Why cannot their own people tell them not to do it? We don't have to do it. If we have a good relationship, if we have mutual relationship, that should help. I have been in various fields in education. I saw many people expect support and they came and studied here. Since many institutions try to exploit them for money, they developed anti-India feelings. Educational reform should make sure that if we have foreign friends studying with us, depending on their financial capability, we should treat them as our friends and help and not exploit them. Therefore, our foreign policy should make sure that if foreign students come to India, they are taken care of. Not that because we are private sector and the people start exploiting and then they are made to run from left to right, etc. etc. No need of pandering, no need of pleasing, but there is no need of making people suffer. Value based society should be a society which respects everyone, gives love to everyone, but does not allow nonsense. Right? So, with these reforms in our foreign policy and then associated policies of defense, etc., I think we can develop a world order of the good old Bharat when Bharat could help everybody and need not be feared. God bless all. Thank you very much. Jai Bharat. Jai Hind.